going to teach you some of the American Sign Language signs in this book. The Mitten, has lots of different animals in it, and we can learn some of these signs and then practice them while we read the book. So let's start with this one, Mitten. Make one hand like this and cover it with the other hand, like you're putting on a mitten. Mitten. Can you try it? Hedgehog. Make the spikes of the hedgehog up like this. Hedgehog. To emphasize the sign, you'd probably spell out all of the letters in the word hedgehog, but we're just going to use the motion hedgehog. Mole. This is another animal sign that's just spelled out. M-O-L-E. Can you try to make your hands spell M-O-L-E or say those letters? The next one is owl. Make your hands around your eyes like two O's and turn them in. Owl. Can you make your hands look like an owl's eyes? That's owl. Next one is a mouse. You're gonna just flick the end of your nose with your pointer finger. Mouse. Can you make the sign mouse? Rabbit. You need two hands. Put your fingers up, first two fingers up, and cross them. You're gonna make the rabbit's ears. Rabbit. You make your hands say rabbit. Fox. The fox has a special nose. Make a circle, put it over your nose and twist your hand. Fox. Fox. Try it. Fox. Bear. Your shoulders scrunch up, bear, like a big bear hug. Scratch those shoulders with your fingers. Bear. You try bear. And our badger would also be spelled out. B-A-D-G-E-R. As we read the book, let's try to make some of the signs that we learned. The mitten. Make your hand say mitten. Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens. Let's make our hands say mittens. Mittens made as white as snow. From wool as white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, did not want to knit mittens. Can you make your hand say mittens again? As white as snow. If you drop one in the snow, she warned, you'll never find it. Would get lost. But Nicky wanted mittens as white as snow. And finally, Baba made them. Let's make that sign one more time for mittens. Okay. After she finished, she said, when you come home, first, I will look to see if you are safe and sound, and then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens. So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. Mittens. His mittens. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. So we're going to sign mole in mitten. Mole is M-O-L-E, and in, make a little C shape and go in with the other hand. In mitten. The snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment and admired his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten and wiggled in. Feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. We're going to sign rabbit in mitten. Rabbit. Remember, we're going to go like this. Rabbit in mitten. Next, the hedgehog came snuffling along, having spent the day looking under the wet leaves for things to eat. He decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumpy and jostled, but not being one to argue with someone covered with prickles, they made room. The hedgehog is going in the mitten. Do you remember how to say hedgehog? Hedgehog in the mitten. Ooh, who's this? It's gonna be the owl. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in, also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's giant talons, they made room for him too. We're going to sign owl in mitten. Owl in mitten. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left. But when they saw his diggers, they gave him a thumb. The badger's in the mitten. Ooh, we have the fox next. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotted by, stopping to investigate. Just a sight of the cozy mitten, just the sight of a cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in, and when the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of room. Let's sign fox in mitten. You help me. Fox in Mitten. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the Mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in so tightly as could be, but what animal would argue with a bear? Bears were going to scratch her both shoulders. The Mitten swelled and stretched, and it was pulled and bulged too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Let's find a bear in Mitten. Bear in Mitten. Along came a meadow mouse. Help me with the sign mouse. No bigger than an acorn, she wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose. The mouse is on the bear. Try that with me. Mouse on bear. Nice. The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Ah, 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 choo! The force of the sneeze shot the Mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions. They went out. Can you make your hand say out? Out went the bear. Out went the fox. Out went the rabbit. Out went the hedgehog. Out went the mole. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost Mitten silhouette against the blue sky. As he ran to catch his snow-white Mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First she looked to see if he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his two mittens. The end.